All right, guys, how are you tonight? Team domination. So, I just want to start this call by saying you guys are all doing amazing. Just the progress we're seeing in this group, you guys are all doing really, really good. You're pushing hard in your workouts. You're getting your nutrition dialed in. It's just evident from the progress you're seeing. So, good job to you guys. Kim and I are very, very proud of you. But going into the home stretch for this challenge, we just thought it would be a good idea to just touch base with you guys, answer some of your questions that you have concerning what's this whole battle of the challenge groups about, or whatever it's called, battle of the teams or whatnot, and just give you a little information about that. So what this whole thing stemmed from is we coaches have found that people respond very well to a challenge or competition. So we had the idea that for this 90-day challenge group that we would divide people who want to participate into three big teams. So Kim and I are leading, obviously, this team. I think Lance and Joey are leading another team, and then Larry and Steve Sample are leading the third team. And basically what it's for is, we kind of ran this as a smaller group for accountability, and we can all get to know each other, which I think we're doing a pretty good job at. People are staying very well engaged. I've been very happy to see that. Some of the small groups I've been in have really become me and like one other person posting. So it's good to see you guys, staying engaged. But the whole point is to, really push during these 90 days, overcoming struggles that you're having and whatnot. And at the end of the 90-day challenge group, we take before and after pictures and some stats if you guys want to give them. And Kim and I will make a 90-day transformation video for this team specifically. And then Lance and Joey will make a video for their group, and Steve and Larry will make a video for their group, and then everyone will vote on who had the best video, or we'll have an impartial third party like Wayne Wyatt or some other famous people that we know through Beachbody. What? And then basically there's it's for bragging rights, but we found that when people have competition, they push harder. So that's what we're trying to do here, is just find ways to make these challenge groups that we run optimal and get you guys to get the best results, because that's what this is about, is how can we keep people engaged, how can we keep you guys pushing hard and not letting go. Kim, did you have anything you want to add to that?
I'm really excited to see people's results. Can you talk a little bit? I know we've had people join as the group has gone on, and I would say, we're still definitely interested. If you have before pictures to compare to where you're at the end of the challenge, we want to use those. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. If you came in halfway through, or even in the last month, if you're new, we still want to see and the work you've done, because you can make really good progress in a month. So if you're new, it doesn't have to be a 3-month transformation. If you came in halfway through, give us what you have, and we'll work it into the video that we're going to make. So that was a good point, Kim. So we also, Kim posted, I think, on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, I can't remember, questions that you guys had for us that could help you, finish strong. So you guys gave us a bunch of really good questions. So one question that we got was, what do we need from you guys, and when? So as I said before, we want day 1 pictures from when this group started, so that would be July 14th. Or, if you don't have it directly on July 14th, the closest picture that you have. Your 90-day pictures or your end of the group pictures if you didn't come in right at the beginning. And then if you have pounds lost, inches lost from a specific, from your waist, or just total inches lost, or body fat percentage reduction, that would be really good to have as well. When the group ends, I think we have 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks, Kim? Something like that. It'll be announced.
We're including this week.
Yeah. So when the group ends, on day 90, if you can on that day or the next day or two, take your after pictures, do your measurements, body fat percentage estimation, and then forward that via private message to me or Kim, or post it on the page, or on our group page, because it's private and everything stays in there, if you're comfortable with that. If not, just private message it to us. Actually, that doesn't matter, because we're making a YouTube video for this. So what you give us, that's what we are planning on making a YouTube video that we're going to post on our channel. But we won't include last names. We'll just include first names. So make the pictures appropriate, please. I'll just put a stipulation in there. And then, within, get the pictures done within a day or two after the challenge is done, and then get them to us within, a few days after that. So let's say a week, and then Kim and I can start working on the video. And then once we get it done, we'll share it with you guys first so you can see, and then we'll dominate the competition over the other 2 teams. And you guys are doing really great. So it's going to be a good video. Does that sound about right to you, Kim?
It does. It's going to be an awesome video, and I'm really excited.
Okay. So another really good question that was posed, thinking about what time of year it is, the last quarter of the year, how do you deal with holidays? And that's a really, really good question, because the stereotype is, holidays roll around, everybody puts on 5 or 10 pounds from Thanksgiving to Christmas or whatnot. But it doesn't have to be like that. And especially for you guys, you're working so hard and you're eating right. But let me be the first person to tell you that, that doesn't mean you have to completely deprive yourself. If you think about it, if you eat fantastic every day in November and you sit down, get out of my face, you sit down for Thanksgiving dinner and you have a nice meal. You don't go back for thirds and fourths, but you sit down and have a good meal. Turkey, some mashed potatoes, and whatnot. The one meal in the week's not going to hurt you. And what you can do to make it hurt even less is, since we're all logging with MyFitnessPal, just compensate the rest of your day for it. Eat, lighten the load for breakfast and lunch. Try to load more protein into earlier in the day, because dinner is probably going to be more carbs and higher fat than what you're used to. Go light for breakfast, go light for dinner, or go light for lunch, and then when you have dinner, enjoy yourself. Have a nice, good Thanksgiving dinner. It's not going to hurt you. Don't have 4 pieces of cake, but have what you like. It's fine. I did that last year. I didn't gain anything over the holidays. I was still continuing my weight loss. Um, and it works really good. And what you can do is you can just, if you kind of have an idea of what you're going to eat, you can log in that meal ahead of time, like the day before, and then that'll tell you what you have to work with for dinner. So you can probably either fit it into your calorie goal, and don't worry about macros for Thanksgiving Day or for Christmas Day or whatnot. But you can probably fit it in your calories or just go a little bit over. Also, I know what Lance likes to do on holidays is he picks the nastiest workout he has that just destroys him, and he does that one on that day to get a good, so he knows he's getting a really good calorie burn to try to compensate for the extra calories that he's going to get. And just realize, you're putting in 30-day, your work out of the month. You're doing 5 or 6 days a week, working hard in your exercise. You're eating right. The one meal in the month is not gonna just completely throw you over. So don't let it stress. I think the holiday, weight gain comes from people who they're not exercising, they're eating a little bit too much anyway, and then around the holidays, I think there's just tends to be more of that type of food around, whether being cakes or just overeating in general, and they do that for a couple months is where the weight comes in. So one meal's not going to put you over. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
I actually have a couple. Yeah, I have a couple things. The first thing I would say is know yourself. While it's true that one meal is not going to throw you, if you know that you are prone, once you get started, to not being able to, then you need to log everything ahead of time, plan out, make it you're going to eat. Doesn't mean you can't have it logged out and do not eat anything over what you have logged. If you know that you have the other thing is, and I think one of the reasons that holidays can be so hard is family members. And I just wanted to say a little something about that. When we went on vacation this summer, I ran into that a little bit. I had family members that were eyes and and saying negative comments and stuff. And you need to know that you need to not let them rule your what you're trying to do. And so, if people are rolling their eyes at you or if they're making negative comments, just smile and say, I'm doing this for me, and I'm happy with it. And don't let that derail you, because it can be really tempting to give up or to give people, oh, you're doing so good, so go ahead and have that extra piece. If it's not in your math, you don't have to give in to that. And I just know that can be a real, when people are making negative comments to you and you've been doing so good, and it can be so tempting. When you're really struggling, it can be people are. So open and have an answer prepared ahead of time that you can give. That's it.
Really, really, really good points. And yeah, so I completely agree. Know yourself and know that if you have certain trigger foods, that maybe you should avoid those foods. You know, if you have a cookie and you think then it throws you into chocolate mode and you want to eat 7 or 20 cookies, maybe pass on the first cookie. But you can have But, that's knowing yourself. And I have certain foods that I quit buying and keeping in the house because I'd pick up, I'd take my serving that I wanted and the bag would disappear. So I quit buying them. Peanut butter for a long time, I got rid of it because I'd walk by and take a spoon and before I know, puts me just way over. Another thing to deal with, aside from like Thanksgiving meal or Christmas dinner or whatnot, is there's a lot of parties around the holidays, and how to deal with that. So you can either, one, eat before you go to the party. So if you go to a party and you're not hungry at all, less chance you're gonna graze. Two, have a big jug of water with you, and that will help keep you full and keep you from having the urge to munch. Let me see, and also find a good healthy recipe that you can take to a party that people will like, and it gives you a good option. So like I make Texas caviar all the time and take it to parties because it's different kinds of beans, white corn, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, tomatoes, and some Italian dressing. It's really good food. It tastes really good as a salsa, even with some Tostitos chips, which is fine, but it's got lots of good healthy fats, protein, carbs, and it usually disappears, and it always gives me a good option that if everything else that's there is cake and ice cream and cookies, it gives me a good thing that I can snack on, and then I can log it in before I go and fit it perfectly into my day. Yeah, and the point that Kim made about dealing with people rolling their eyes at you and why do you log your food? You're already you've lost enough weight. You deserve a treat. You deserve whatever. Just say that I'm doing this because this is what I feel is right for me. This is what's working for me. I've had very good success. You can do what you want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if hopefully they'll accept it, and a lot of times the negativity comes from people seeing you making a positive change, them feeling bad and trying to drag you down. So know where they're coming from, and maybe you can talk to them about it, and don't give advice if they really don't want it because that just irritates people. But just know that's probably where they're coming from, and I have that lets me be more empathetic, so I don't get irritated and say, well, this is leave me alone. This is what's right for me. Okay, good points. Good points.
And just Allan, one
Yeah.
other thing with that, because you brought up something that was good too. Very often at holiday parties there are tables of food. Food is left out, kind of like a buffet style. And so what I really recommend is just, if you've eaten what you've planned to eat, what are in your calories, stay away from the table. Just don't go by it. If you're walking by it looking at that food, you're going to be tempted to take it. And so if you just, go in a different room, be away from it, and that'll help too.
Yeah. Very, very good. So the last question or two that we have, one is how do you deal with plateaus? If you've been losing weight and then all of a sudden it kind of stalls for a few weeks, how do you deal with that, break it? and then get the ball rolling again. You know, if you've lost weight long enough, pretty much everybody's going to hit a plateau. I certainly did. Kim, I believe you hit a plateau for a while, and you've broken that now. But you know, there's different things to think about. One, you know, if you talk to any coach, the first question we're going to say is, how's your MyFitnessPal logging? Have you been logging accurately, honestly? If it goes in your mouth, it goes into your food diary. Have you been hitting your calories? Have your macros been looking good? Because if you haven't been logging, we really can't help you because we don't know what you've been doing. So if you've been hitting your calories good, logging honestly and whatnot, and you're hitting your target calorie goal, how are your workouts going? You know, are you, you know, I've been doing the same workouts for a while, they're kind of boring me, I'm just going through the motions, or are you doing something exciting that's pushing you and you're trying really hard and you're just exhausted by the end? Are you working out 3 days a week, or are you working out 6 days a week? You know, so how's the nutrition side of things? How's your effort in exercise? You know, if those are looking good, potentially it's time to alter your calorie goal or your macros. You know, if you're a little bit higher on the carbs, we can dial the carbs and fat down a little bit. Well, fat probably say about 20-25%, but you can dial the carbs down, up the protein a little bit, and that can help get things rolling again. Conversely, if you've lost a good amount of weight and you're getting close to your goal and you plateau, which was the case with me and Kim, so for me, I started at 230 pounds. I got down, I think this is probably when I was around 180, 85 pounds, eating 1,800 calories a day and fat shredder macros, so 30% protein, 50% protein, 30% carbs, 20% fat. I stalled for 2-3 weeks. I talked with my coach about it, Lance, and what we did is we bumped my calories to 2,000 calories a day, and I went to 40-40-20, so 40% carbs and protein, 20% fat, and weight loss kicked right back up. Now, if that's the case for you, it will freak your brain out. I'm not losing weight, I need to eat more. But it works. Because if you think about it, what's happening in your body? Mm-hmm. Your body fat is your spare energy tank. So when those are getting low, your body recognizes that, and you know, it recognizes my energy reserves are low, I need to start conserving. So to get things moving again, you have to provide your body with enough energy that it can function properly, and then it'll stop trying to hoard all the energy you give it, and it'll let go. You know, I've seen this, Kim has seen this. You're up now like 400 calories to what you were eating before, Kim? Something like that. I know Greg's, he's going up. Was he at 2,200 a day now? 2,300?
Yep.
He's still losing weight. I mean, he was for quite a while.
20. A team member who contacted me, who bumped her calories. I believe she was at 1,400, bumped them up to 1,600, and in 1 week lost 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Had
plateaued
for a while.
Yep. So, you know, that does work.
It works.
So if you're at the bottom of the calorie level, you know, for dudes, you know, I don't like, you know, I lost most of my weight at 1,800 calories a day, but that's before I was, I learned more about metabolism. I really don't like it when the guys eat less than 2,000 calories a day if they can. Women, 1,200 is the absolute bottom of the barrel. 14 really is, it'd be better if you stuck around there for a minimum. So if you're at that level and you're eating very good, you're pushing very hard in your workouts and you're plateauing, try bumping up a couple hundred calories a day for a couple weeks. Throw the scale away. Don't look at it for 2 weeks. And just try it, and a lot of times that works. I have one team member, when she contacted me, she was eating like 1,000 calories a day, and couldn't lose weight. And she'd been doing that for a while, so the last possibility is that you may be having metabolic adaptation, so your body's reducing its metabolism to deal with the low calories, because it's in a stressful state and it's trying to survive. So I told her we need to do a reverse diet. So this is slowly adding in calories, 50 calories a week, maybe 100 calories per day per week, or do that for a couple weeks and then see how your body reacts. And doing that, a month or two later, she was up to 1,400 calories a day, and all of a sudden she started losing weight. And she was ecstatic, and now she's lost, I think over 20 pounds, and from eating more. And, because your body is a machine, and it needs fuel to function properly. If you starve it, it's not going to function the way you want. And I've heard Steve Edwards say this quite a bit, and Steve Edwards is the VP of Fitness and Nutrition for Beachbody. And he helps make all the programs Beachbody makes. I've heard him say the number one thing they tell people when they are dealing with plateaus is eat more. And he wrote a good blog on it. And if I remember, I'll look for it and post it. But it'll freak you out, but it works. But increase slowly. And then over time, once you get your metabolism up to a certain point, then you can cut back down and you'll start losing weight again. So another example for me is I'm working on Body Beast right now. So I'm trying to gain muscle mass. So put on some weight. When I finished P90X2, I was eating about 2,100 calories a day, and my weight was kind of maintaining. So over the last couple months, I've been slowly increasing my calories because I'm trying to gain size now, or weight. I'm up to 2,800 calories a day, and last week I gained maybe half a pound, which is actually where I want to be. And if I stay at that long enough, that'll level off, and you can actually start losing weight as your metabolism increases. You working the metabolism is possible, and this is really the end goal of where we want to get people. We don't want you at for the ladies out there at 1,400 calories a day for the rest of your life. For the dudes, we don't want you at 2,000 calories a day the rest of your life. Once you get to your goal weight, body fat percentage, or what your goal is, we want you to reverse diet and then get your metabolism burning as high as possible. So, when you're, as a guy, when you're eating 3,000 calories a day to maintain your weight, it's a lot easier to go out and have a nice dinner with your wife or girlfriend or whatnot, or your pals. Man, that was from like the 50s. Pals. With your friends, go have have some pizza or whatever. It's a lot easier to fit that in and not, oh my gosh, I gained 2 pounds from eat dinner last night. As the special event. We still want to eat a healthy diet, to give your body the nutrition it needs, but it's a lot easier to enjoy your diet when you build your metabolism back up. Did you have anything to add to that, Kim?
Nope.
Pumping
You
my
got
teeth.
it all, I think.
Okay. The last question we got was, when does this become automatic? So this is going to differ for everybody. For me, once I flip the switch, and this is just my personality, once I flip the switch, game on. I really didn't have too much of a problem sticking with the workouts. The nutrition took me more time to get used to. But I would say within a month, everyone says 21 days to make a habit. Within a month, I was pretty much dialed in. And certainly now, I've been at this over a year and a half, almost 2 years now. I feel weird if I don't, get a really good hard workout in. It's just I wake up at 5 a.m., put on my gym clothes, brush my teeth, get downstairs and get after it, come up, shower, get on with my day. Just sets me up. That's my routine. The nutrition, it's what I do now. But one of the reasons it was easier for me to dial it in is because my why was strong enough to let me be that determined. So for me, my why was, after my son was born, I knew I couldn't keep doing what I was doing, because I wasn't just going to ruin my health, become obese, have all the problems with that, but my son was going to learn that. So I had to change to not only improve my health and fitness, so I can have physically an enjoyable life. I can do what I want to do without having too much trouble. But I'll teach him those same habits so he can avoid the problems I was already getting into at 26 years old. So we say it all the time, have a good why, and that will get you going and keep you going until it becomes just a part of your day. Kim, about how long did it take for you and Greg to just start rocking and rolling?
Well, I would say that once, as you said, with exercise, it kind of, that was the easier part, for me at least, getting into a daily habit of doing that. And it's really nice that Greg and I had each other, because we can encourage each other if one of us doesn't feel like it. Come on, we're going to do it, and we encourage each other in that. So, and I agree with you, total workout in. I don't really know what to do with myself on rest days. It feels so weird not to do something. The nutrition, and I think that might have been even what the question was kind of geared toward. I would say, I mean, I've lost a bunch of weight, and I've done really well, but sometimes, I mean, I know what I need to do, and I would say that for me, tracking has become the norm, and so that's pretty normal for me to do. I struggle with it more than other days, and so I think I don't know, the nutrition, I don't know if it ever becomes like just exactly what you do. I'm still working with that whole mindset, and I think just when you kind of get used to it, for me, that was when it was time to then switch and do the reverse dieting, and that's been a whole new mindset for me to try and get used to, and but I'd say that as I go along, learning that food is fuel for my body and not something else, not something to take comfort in or to do when I'm stressed. I think that I've got a much better handle on that now. And probably a half a year to a year it's been that. So I guess once again, it depends on your personality. It depends on how, each person, how quickly it becomes the norm.
Yeah. And I kind of, for me, I get quite a satisfaction, like when I hit my calories spot on and my macros look good. It's like, so that's always one thing I try to do. But I've had people ask me, how do you get your calories and macros so good, for the majority of your days? Because I know a lot of people, they kind of struggle to get their macros looking pretty close. Pre-planning. So when my wife and I get groceries on the weekend, we get groceries for the whole week, and we sit down and say we want to have, this meal, this meal, this meal. This meal will make X amount of leftovers. If we make one meal that's maybe a little higher in carbs, we'll couple that with the next dinner being higher in protein. And then when I'm planning my food for the day, I have the same breakfast every day, creature of habit. Then lunch is leftovers. And then when I get to dinner, I look at my Fitness Pal and say, I have X amount of protein, carbs, and fat, and I build my dinner around that. So today, for lunch, we made a casserole, higher in carbs, but I'm at 50% carbs, so that's normal for me now. But, it was one of my favorite recipes, so I had a pretty big lunch. So when I got home, I had a big salad for dinner because I didn't get a lot of vegetables for lunch. So I had a whole head of romaine lettuce, half a dozen grape tomatoes, some green olives, feta cheese, pea pods, some croutons for some other carbs, and Italian dressing. 533 calorie salad, about as big as my head. It was delicious, and that's all I had for dinner because that's what I had left for my calories and macros. So, I had a big lunch. My dinner suffers a little bit, but that's fine.
That doesn't sound like suffering to me. That sounds yummy.
So, pre-planning works. And, where people get into trouble is when, they get home from work and I've got 500 or 600 calories for dinner, and they're like, "Oh, let's go out." Yeah, you don't have a good chance at that point of hitting your target. So just knowing what's coming up ahead of time for the vast majority of your days is what will get you results. So I think we hit our time. Went a little bit late, but we started late because apparently I had no clue how to do a live chat. So I figured it out for you guys. Thanks for being on the call, Kim. And again, you guys are doing great. So let's finish this challenge out strong and kick the other team's butt in the video challenge.
Do it.
All right. Good night, guys.
Bye.